Hey guys, so here we go into round two. I'm just going to play the clips that I had from round one for anybody who didn't watch round one, but it was predicated off of the timing that we did film study on in the previous video, or like 2 videos ago, where we saw Golovkin destroy David Lemieux with that timing when he would lean on his left leg, and we realized after doing some film study on Canelo versus Liam Smith that Canelo had a very similar timing, and this might be one of the reasons why Golovkin is so successful as a fighter, is being able to pick up on his opponent's timings. And that might also just be a product of him training with Abel Sanchez. Maybe Abel Sanchez is very good at picking apart fighters, and Golovkin is just one of the few fighters that he's been able to be successful teaching and picking those strategies up. Second off, the use of these clips is protected under the Fair Rights Act, and I think HBO owns rights to all the clips, and my use is not to undermine or redistribute the fight, but to give a new take, perspective, and to criticize the work and under the umbrella of educational purposes. And thirdly, thank you to everyone who's been commenting on my videos. If you like them, fuck you to that one guy who gave me a dislike. Man, I'm gonna find you. But everyone who's showed support and subscribed, all the new subscribers, I really appreciate it. For anyone who doesn't know, I boxed for 10 years. I had a couple, I was training to be a professional. I wanted to be a professional. But I had a lot of injuries and a lot of setbacks, and, I'm in my 30s now, so I don't think I'll be punching anybody in the face anytime soon. But anyway, aside from my credentials, I just love boxing. I absolutely love boxing, and I love talking about it. So thank you everyone who's subscribed, who's chatting, and is interested in the things that I have to say about the sport. So here we're going to go into round 2, and this is a phenomenal round, you guys. I don't talk about everything. I don't go over every punch. My channel, for the most part, I know I did that Manny Pacquiao series about scoring, and I don't want to make my channel too much about scoring, because you're not always going to change anybody's mind about it, and to be honest, I kind of talk about this a lot. Triple G is one of my favorite fighters. Canelo's one of my favorite fighters as well. Canelo could have very easily just clinched and made this an ugly and boring fight, but he didn't. He fought with integrity. He didn't, try to kind of, spoil Golovkin by clinching and ducking under his jab like Danny Jacobs did. And one of the reasons why I was adamant about doing a film study about that is because I have a particular despise for people who try to bend the rules to win a fight, And anyway, I don't want to talk about who won. It's not important. But I want to talk about the actual boxing and the strategies that are used, the skills, the techniques, why this fighter is able to do this, what they do, how they set up their punches, how they use their defense, and the flow of the fight. And one of the most important parts about figuring out the flow of the fight is figuring out what adjustments take place in the rounds, what people are figuring out as they fight each other, because you're never just fighting a fight. You are always fighting your opponent. Your opponent, like Canelo, how the hell is he going to get the record that he has, however many, 50 fights that he has? Is he 49-1? I don't know. 49-1-0 or 1-2 now? 2 draws? I don't know. But you're not going to get a record like that, especially against very good fighters like Miguel Cotto. Shane Mosley was a very good fighter. All those fighters that he's fought, you're not going to get a record like that, fighting people like that, if you're not a smart fighter, and very smart fighter. I think that he could work a little bit on, we'll talk about some things that he could work on. He did do a phenomenal job turning his punches over in this fight. Notice, when he was throwing his punches, he was landing with the scoring parts of the knuckles, not slapping his hands against his opponent like he did in the Liam Smith fight. So he's already made some great adjustments, and this fight, believe it or not, this is, I don't know what he learned in the Floyd Mayweather fight. To be honest, he looked exactly the same in every fight, every subsequent fight after that. Everyone looks at that Floyd Mayweather fight and says, wow, he got so much better after fighting Floyd Mayweather. How? If you can't point to what he's done differently, then I don't believe it, and I haven't seen it. But in this fight, he picks up on the timings and the rhythms that Golovkin was looking to exploit, and makes adjustments, and these adjustments are going to be so good for him moving on and growing as a fighter. He's going to grow so much because he had to deal with this type of adversity. So anyway, I've blabbered about this bullshit for about 5 minutes. We only got a minute and a half of this round to cover, but we're going to get into it. And again, round one was predicated off of Golovkin establishing his lead hand, establishing his jab, and picking apart that timing where Canelo likes to punch off of his lead left leg, right? And when he's not able to punch, there he is on his lead left leg, Golovkin chasing him down. When he doesn't have his weight on his lead left leg, he's not in a position to even defend himself, and it allows Golovkin to set up his punches when he's rocking onto his right leg. And we're going to see how Canelo deals with that during the course of this round. And again, very smart from Golovkin, jabbing, probing. See how he just throws, and for all my new my new subscribers or my new viewers, that's a real jab, but see how he sticks his jab out like this? He's testing the waters, right? He's trying to look for, number one, he's controlling Canelo, occupying his mind, making him think about his lead hand rather than setting up his own offense, right? So he's controlling him, but he's also not committing to this shot because he's looking for Canelo to react to it, how Canelo reacts to it. So that's going to allow him to set up his offense further later. And that's one thing that Golovkin did really well in round one, is establish control of the distance between them so that he's able to time Canelo and punch him when he finds that timing of the lead left leg. But again, setting it up and doing exactly what he needs to do. Now we've got Canelo on the line, looking to take advantage of Golovkin taking advantage of his timing. And the first way that he tries to do that, rocks forward, gets in the timing, and Golovkin sees that he's not punching when he's on the line, so Golovkin gives him a feint right here. Let's see if I can get it. He gives him a fucking, excuse me, pardon my language. I'm half French. I don't know if you guys can tell. But he gives him a feint right here, right? Feints him with the jab and gets Canelo to duck under the jab and throw the left hook. But Golovkin, being a very smart fighter, just like I talked about in the pre-fight build-up, Golovkin is going to be very, very hard to counterpunch. And he's easily able to control Golovkin and duck under and get away from that hook. So Canelo not finding success in countering right there. So we'll see where he goes from there. So here he goes. He ducks under, shoots a probing jab, and slips the counter jab from Golovkin. And now this is extremely important right here. This is the first time that he's done that. But look at how he does it. And he doesn't do it off of that rhythm where he's leaning on his left leg, right? He's testing the waters and trying to find new ways to set up his offense because he's getting shut down when he puts all his weight on his lead left leg. This is one of the adjustments that he's going to make during the course of this round that allow him to pick it up so easily on the scorecards. But anyway, moving on. Let's see. Ooh, now... so we saw him try to establish the left hook, the lead left hand, or the lead left hook off of that same timing, right? Now Canelo dips to his left and then waits for the counter from Golovkin, but Golovkin probes him again and gets him to commit and show his hand again, right? So Golovkin feints him again, sticks his lead hand out, and gets Canelo to commit to the uppercut counter, right, that he thinks he's going to be able to catch him with. But again, the probes and the feints from Golovkin are just too strong, and this is not a viable way for him to set up his offense, just like I said in my prediction video. And then, this is also really important. So he's sitting on the line with him, and they wind up shooting the jab at the same time, and Golovkin's jab misses, and Canelo's jab misses, and Golovkin's lands. He takes like a little step to his left as he shoots the jab, moving ever so slightly off the line. But it's a really interesting thing for Canelo to realize, because he's realizing that he's not able to set up his jab off of the lead left leg how he normally does his normal rhythm, and he's not having the same success just shooting it off rhythm anymore either, like he started to have in the beginning or at the end of the last round. So we'll see where he goes from there. Now, this is all the same clip, right? Whoops. So we'll just show that. Baits him into it. Oh, it's not. Oh, yeah. So shoots him when he's on the line, catches him in the same rhythm, right? But Canelo catching the jab because he knows it's coming. And now Golovkin does something really smart. What does he do? Well, he goes into his own rhythm, right? He flashes his lead hand, but look at his head. Look at how his head is ducking down so he can slip the counter from Golovkin, right? And he notices that Golovkin doesn't actually shoot his punch, right? And he's able to throw these punches. And while I don't think that any of them land, right? You can see that left hook being blocked. And then this right hand, Golovkin goes to control Canelo, but he doesn't quite get his hand on his shoulder exactly. And then this right hand kind of, a little bit over the top. It doesn't land super clean. But again, Golovkin showing his defense to be very good. None of those punches really land super cleanly. And again, Canelo having trouble setting up his shots. But noticing that when he moves his head off the line, Golovkin's not countering. Now, also really interesting, another adjustment that he has, he gets on the line, uses the same timing, but this time he goes to the body and moves his head, and Golovkin has no answer for it. So he's picking up the fact that when he moves his head and now he's going to the body with the jab rather than the head and staying on the line, he's having success, and Golovkin's going to have to make an adjustment. And then right here, noticing how he gets caught with that jab, because he's on the line, he doesn't move his head, and Golovkin's still able to time him, even though he's just punching while he's on the line, and it's not necessarily in that same rhythm. But again, moving his head down, getting away from Golovkin's jab, and he's able to go to the body, right? So Canelo really starting to figure something out now, that he can avoid the contention of the jabs that I kind of predicted that they would have by just moving his head and going to the body instead. Now this round gets way more interesting. And again, sitting on the line with him, trying to time him, shooting the jab. But again, Golovkin, very difficult to time and to counter. Pause it right at the perfect moment. He times him perfectly right here, but he misses the pull counter. Again, so he leans forward onto his lead left leg just ever so slightly. But now, Canelo is using that timing to set up his own traps. Very interesting, because by this point in the round, after the first round, he knows that Golovkin is looking to time him on that lead left leg, right? So he sets up the pull counter, but Golovkin's defense is just too good, and he misses that pull counter just barely. But again, the counter is not really looking like an avenue for the offense for Canelo. And then right after that, just a couple seconds, Golovkin says, okay, so the counters aren't working, standing on the line isn't working, so what am I going to do? Fuck that little frame. He's going to use the same rhythm, the same timing, and just go to the body instead. So he moves his head. Golovkin actually catches him with the jab there, but you can't really see it in this frame, but Canelo catches him with a double jab, right? So he throws the jab to the body, the first one, and then he goes to the head with the second one, just like I said he would do in the film study that I did previous to this fight. And then he goes with this right hand right here, that it doesn't look like the right hand lands, but that's not the important part. But now this is really interesting. So from there, the next thing Canelo is looking at, he's like, okay, so the counters aren't really working. I can go to the body. But now he starts to figure something else out, that he can bait Golovkin into throwing his punches by leaning on that leg and then pulling back and getting him to commit to shots. So now he's figuring out ways to exploit Golovkin's knowledge of his timing, creating an adjustment that's going to be pivotal for him winning the rest of this round. Because at this point, I still have Golovkin winning the round, but now he's able to pick apart that timing and really start to make Golovkin miss. As you can see in this frame, where he leans forward and then leans back, makes Golovkin miss. Leans forward, leans back as the punch comes. Ducks down, and Golovkin kind of controls him with that right uppercut, but it's not a real shot, but he gets Golovkin to commit to a shot, and then he can pull away from the second shot. Again, using the timing that he's established through his entire career, his own rhythm, his own timing, he's able to break it and make an adjustment to start Golovkin missing punches. Now this is really interesting right here. So just watch this. Look at how beautiful he executes this, right? Boom, lands that body shot, controls him, and is able to get off the line and make Triple G miss yet again. The reason that this happens is because Canelo uses the same timing, right? Leaning on his the same timing, the same rhythm, where he goes to put his weight on his lead left leg, but instead of going to the head like he had been, he's going to go to the body again, and he dips low, changes head slots, and gets Golovkin to actually, one of the things that happens here, and I was going to try to break it down and show how they're both making adjustments, but because Golovkin has seen this tactic from him where he goes to the body with the jab instead, Golovkin actually times it, and he's able to pick it apart as well with his own timing and throw a lead right hand to catch Canelo as he's making his own adjustment. He's using his own adjustment, but Canelo is actually making an adjustment at the same time, so he's not going to the body with the jab this time. He was actually feinting the jab to the body with the established rhythm to get Golovkin to bring his head down so he could land that right uppercut and try to walk him into the right uppercut, because he noticed that when he would go to the body with the jab off of that timing, Golovkin would duck down and try to cover his body with that shell defense where he brings both of his hands up, then brings his elbows really low, and he was trying to walk him into a right uppercut. Beautiful boxing, you guys. These are the adjustments that great fighters make. And if Canelo can work on like a couple skills I'll talk about probably at the end of the film study, he can become a great fighter, and he's already gonna be a monster in his 30s because he's getting to fight such, the fact that he's so young and he's taking fights like Golovkin, who's 35, he's a very, very, anyway, you guys get it. Experience, he's only going to get better from here, and he's still young enough to take advantage of all the experience that he's going to gain. So he's really lucky in that respect. But anyway, moving on. And then from there, he goes and throws that body shot and then controls Golovkin while he moves off the line. Beautiful boxing. Oh, and I love this clip right here. Beautiful. We're just going to play the whole thing real quick. That was it, actually. But here he starts toying with that very same rhythm that he has established. Leans forward, pulls back away from the jab. Leans forward, and Golovkin says, hey, stop that. Tries to catch him with an uppercut. Leans forward, slips the jab, and gets Golovkin worried about another counter, right? Because he was countering over the right, or over Golovkin's jab. Ducks down in, whoops, and then my video freezes. But again, leaning on his left leg, and then pulling back when the appropriate response from Golovkin comes. Very smart boxing from Canelo, making adjustments and finding ways to make Golovkin miss, so that he can take away his opportunities to score. Right? Oh, beautiful. So if you look at the start of this clip, Canelo ducks down to his right, ducks down to his left, and then, oh God, I missed it, but he goes from here to put all his weight onto his lead left leg, and then baits the counter from Golovkin as Golovkin ducks down under what he thought was going to be a jab, and then throws the uppercut, and then rolls the hook. Just beautiful boxing. Just watch that again. Ducks down, times him perfectly, and again, making him miss off of the rhythm and pattern that Golovkin had already established as part of his game plan. Beautiful boxing. Why is it showing that clip again? I didn't go back. Oh, okay. Whoops, I put that clip in there twice. But right off of that, really interesting. He shoots the jab. Whoops. So, right there, Canelo leans on his left leg, right? And then Golovkin shoots the jab first. It's really tough to see. But he leans... Oh, God damn it. The video keeps freezing. But tries to walk him into the right hand by getting the slip away from the jab, right? But look at how Golovkin doesn't throw it as a huge right hand, like over the top, right? It's kind of a half right hand because he's actually probing with it. What he's trying to do is he's trying to get Canelo to commit to a right uppercut counter. As you can see how he's winding up with that left hook right there. Boom. but Canelo using his static defense to duck under the left hook, right? But not falling for the trap. But I think that's not a product of Canelo knowing what Golovkin's doing, but I think it's a product of Canelo having made an adjustment to take away Triple G's offense. As you noticed, he hasn't been super successful landing his punches because so much of his game plan at the moment was predicated on him taking advantage of Canelo's timing. But Canelo has made an adjustment, so now Golovkin is going to have to look for new ways to create offense. So what does he do? He goes to the probing, and he tries to use a right-hand probe to get him to commit to the uppercut. But because Canelo's having success already with the other stuff that he's doing, he's not inclined to look to counter at the moment. Oh my God, beautiful boxing right there. So dips onto his right leg, right? Expects a counter from Golovkin, expects Golovkin to try to take advantage of the dipping onto his left leg. And what does he do off of that? Creates a trap and slips it and throws a body shot. Now, I'm not sure the body shot lands. It doesn't matter, though, because he's able to create traps off of his own rhythm and timing now to start landing punches against Golovkin. And in this case, because Golovkin hasn't made an adjustment yet, he's completely outboxing Golovkin in the second round. Beautiful. And then right here, again, creating traps off of that rhythm, pulling back and able to land another counter. Again, he goes to lean forward onto his left leg. They find themselves on the line. And remember before, earlier in the round, when Golovkin and Canelo would stay on the line and they would both shoot jabs at each other because they were timing each other. They both felt that feeling, and they just throw jabs. Canelo sees it. He feels the jab coming. He knows Golovkin's about to throw a jab, and he's able to just pull back and counter the jab right there. Very safely, also because he knows after Golovkin commits to the jab that he doesn't always have follow-up punches, and he's able to land a beautiful counter right there. Beautiful boxing. Oh, and then again, setting up more traps, right? So leans on his left leg, and then he sticks his right hand out there to catch Golovkin's jab and control him and land a left hook or left uppercut. I'm not sure exactly. Let me watch it again. I don't know why it went so far back, but it's kind of like a shovel hook where it comes up at an odd angle where it's kind of both. But Golovkin does a good job of controlling him. I don't think that's exactly a jab over his right hand catch, but again, Canelo looking to establish timings and set traps off of his timing and his rhythm. Oh, beautiful boxing right there. Now, what happens here? Canelo leans forward onto his left leg, right? Baiting the jab from Golovkin, ducking it, slipping it, right? And then shoots his own jab to control Golovkin, waits for the right hand to come, and is able to slip it and land that uppercut to the body. Beautiful boxing. But one thing that he doesn't do after he punches, right? Even though moving off the line is very good, he doesn't control Golovkin after. He doesn't control Golovkin after, and this is why it's so dangerous to counterpunch with Golovkin when you don't have those skills, when you don't smother, because he keeps, especially if you can't take advantage of those traps that you set, because he comes back with his own left hook and lands it right there. Beautiful boxing from both of them, but Canelo really showing that he's paying attention to what Golovkin's doing. Beautiful boxing. And again, right here, Golovkin tries to time him as he's putting his weight on his left leg, and he's able to just barely make him miss. Maybe that glove touches him, but it's not a hard shot. And then he shoots that jab. Golovkin tries to time him again. Whoops. And then Golovkin tries to time him again as he's about to put his weight on his left leg, and Canelo knows it, so he goes to catch the jab and move off. And this is the end of the round right here, if the goddamn video will play. And look at the look that Canelo gives him at the end of the round. Just watching him as the round ends, he's like, I know all your tricks, right? He's figured out what he's doing, and he's made a great adjustment in the second round to really neutralize Golovkin's offense and take away his ability to score. And that's exactly what you want to be doing in the sport of boxing. And that's why doing film study is so important, figuring out how your opponent's going to attack you, figuring out their timings. In Golovkin's case, that's one of his biggest strengths, is timing his opponents. And in the first round, he was really able to take away Canelo's ability to land his own offense, in my opinion, because I gave the first round to Golovkin, but I very clearly gave this round to Canelo, and I think that he was just outboxing Golovkin in this round, and it was just beautiful to see. Anyway, let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you guys agree. And let me know if you guys saw anything else that you saw in the fight or in the rounds 1 and 2. Now, the reason that I'm so excited about this is a lot of people think that Canelo got tired, and that's the reason why he wasn't throwing as many punches, why he was just moving around a lot. But I'm more in the zone of thinking that Golovkin made the proper adjustments and was able to take away Canelo's consistent offense, and that was what made him fight in spurts rather than fighting the whole round. But we're going to see. We're going to see what adjustments Golovkin makes to take away the timing counter that Canelo has established against Golovkin. Beautiful boxing from both guys. And again, I don't really care who won the round, If somebody thought Golovkin won the round, that's cool. We're not talking about who won the fight or who won the rounds. Although I am curious, I don't want to be grilled about my opinion about it, but I am interested to know if anybody did give this round to Golovkin, in spite of what looks like a thorough boxing, I don't want to say boxing lesson, but he made a great adjustment, and that's what great fighters do. Anyway, like, comment, and subscribe. I don't think I've been saying that recently. Anyway, thanks, guys.